Welcome back, my book dragons. We are going to go over my reads for July. And I got more than I anticipated done, but it was a stressful month for me because I just came back from helping my mom and getting things done for her and spending a month with her. And then I had to come back home and work on getting my house clean, work on getting my kids ready for school, go meeting the teachers, getting supplies, getting out to any last doctor appointments that I had to miss because I was gone for a month. And if there was anything I learned from July, it was don't overbook myself when it comes to arcs and things like that. So I've already started limiting how many arcs I sign up for and doing a better job at keeping track of what I get. So that way I can have a manageable amount. And now, don't get me wrong, I love arc reading. It's like a bad addiction. The first one is from the All That Glitters series, and it's by Jolene Johnson, and it is Gilded Locks. This one I gave 5 stars. I really enjoyed that one. This one is a Robin Hood retelling, and it's got a weird magic kind of thing in it with this special type of gold. And that is why it's called Gilded Locks. And yeah, I don't want to give too much more of that. It was really good. It was enjoyable. There were two different villains, one of which you see blatantly, and the other one I did not see coming. I don't know how I didn't see it coming, but I didn't see it coming. So I enjoyed that. Thank you, Jolene. The next one is from the Midlife Meet Cute series. I was on the street team for that. And this one is by Suzanne Ash, and it's called Love Takes a Tumble. And this is a cute story of a woman who has given her life to her mom and helping her out because her health was horrible and she needed a caregiver. And so she put her dream of becoming an author on hold to take care of her mom. And then she goes to a hotel to make those dreams come true after her mother passes. And she takes a tumble on the beach. And lo and behold, here is this midlife meet cute. There's a retired firefighter who saw it without seeing it because she didn't see anybody around, but he totally saw her tumble on the beach. And it's I really enjoyed the nuance in this and the back and forth with the main characters, and the usually the miscommunication trope I do not like, but this one wasn't as bad. This one was one of those, oh, they had a miscommunication. Oh, look, here we go. They're fixing it. And it was great to see that because you don't often see that. And I think that's because a lot of younger main characters don't have the experience of, yeah, I need to talk and get this fixed because, it never helped me in the past to hold on to these things. So I really loved Love Takes a Tumble. The next book I read was back to the All That Glitters series, and this was Lost Starlight by Kayla Eschbau. And this one is a Peter Pan retelling. And the tagline for this is, what if Peter Pan and Wendy actually got together? And this is part of one of her series in her own world, but it's a great standalone and it fit in with the All That Glitters series. And it was a fun, nice, lighthearted read, and it had a good mystery in it. And I just loved it. So if you are looking for a cute Peter Pan retelling where Peter Pan and Wendy fall in love, this is definitely one of those books. And it was really fun. I liked how she redid it and retold it. It was beautifully done. So thank you, Kayla. And now the next one is going back to Midlife Meet Cute. Apparently, I took turns kind of reading these two series, and so the next one was Beauty and the Grease by Stephanie J. Scott, and this one is about a female main character who owns a tow company, and she wears coveralls, and she's living her dream because she had it taken from her earlier in life. And then lo and behold, one day as she's having thoughts of, I really need to find a way to get this business off the ground. I don't know what's going wrong. I don't know why people just don't need us, until they get a call for a tow when she goes out to go get the car. And she's like, ooh, expensive car. This will be a good payday. And then the person who steps out of the car is her ex. And she ends up getting roped into giving him a ride and stuff to where he needs to go because his job is on the line if he doesn't show up. And she really comes through for him. And I loved how she helped him find himself. And it made him so much happier. And I love this one. So this one was a great midlife meet cute. Thank you, Stephanie. That was one of my favorites. Next, thank you, Rosalie Publishing. I got to read Estelle Rose's newest book, Empowering ADHD Organization and Cleaning. Super, super good book. I'm going to be posting a review here soon of it that you can see more in depth about it because I can't say enough about it. It has really helped me and my ADHD brain get a hold on my household and get a hold on my mental health to try and do micro tasks and stuff to make my life easier and more efficient and not so ADHD paralyzing. After that, I got an audio arc from Free Audiobook Codes, and that was called That Damn Dragon by Trevor Jones. And this was an okay book. It was 3.5 stars for me, but I rounded it up to 4 because it wasn't bad. I just didn't like the beginning of it when he's establishing the character backgrounds for you, and it opens up with a very open door scene. And I was not expecting that. None of the reviews, when I did the research into it to see if it would be something I wanted to read or listen to, mentioned any of that. And so I was like, I feel completely blindsided. But minus that and a lust curse that takes place later in the book, it was a pretty good book. If you like D&D type of things, or I think it's called Lit RPG, you would probably like this book. The next book I got to read was Compliments from NetGalley and Macmillan Audio, and that is The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. I got approved to do the audio arc for this, and that was phenomenal. I enjoyed the audio book, and I've heard that some people have had a hard time reading it, and I've been saying, I asked them if they did the audiobook or the book or an ebook or something like that, and they said regular reading, and I was like, try the audiobook. It might help you. The narrator really, really helps with this book, and it was probably one of the main reasons why I finished this book, other than it was a good world, and I loved the premise, and I loved how she tied everything up neatly with her. So next, I got to read a audio arc for Digging Deep by H.K. Brown, narrated by Lisa Lynn Sandlin. And I actually read this book earlier this year, I believe. This year? It was either this last March or March of 2024. One of them. But I got the ebook in one of her promos on Instagram, and I binge read it in 6 hours. So, but this time I got to listen to the book come to life, and Lisa does an amazing narration job of it, and I'm so glad that she invited me to join her business group to basically pick an audiobook, and she would give it to me, and the whole point is to help drive reviews, to get good reviews, not necessarily good reviews, but honest reviews, and help bring it into the eyes of other people, because sometimes books don't do so good if there's no reviews. People won't look into it if there's no reviews. They're like, I don't want to risk spending my money on an audiobook that I don't know if I'll like. So if you're interested in joining her group, she does clean, closed door Christian audiobooks, and you need to fill out her application. Excuse me. You will need to fill out her application. I have permission. I put the link for that form in the description. Please feel free to fill it out, but note that you will only be invited to join if you do closed door, clean, and Christian reading promos and stuff like that. So if you are an audiobook reviewer, take a chance, see if you might get in. She does vet the applications, so that way only the people she knows that would enjoy her books that she narrates will be there. But it's the same for anything. It's just like a regular author who would pick to review for their ARC team and things like that. You fill out the application and you wait to hear back. So next, I went back to the Midlife Meet Cute series and I read The Summer I Stayed by Bella Green. This one was a fun one. I really liked this one. It was so cute. It was short. It was sweet. It was to the point. And it was great. It was about a lady who does, I believe, interior design and does a blog. And it's got a huge Great Dane in it. I loved it. And so if you like lakeside type of books and restorations and stuff with the grumpy sunshine trope, this is definitely the book for you. Next, I got a NetGalley approval for Dragonborn by Struan Murray. And this is a young adult or YA book, or middle, you could even say middle grade almost. I mean, I think it might be a little bit more than middle grade. But it's essentially Harry Potter vibes with the academia and things like that and the magic, but completely dragon shifters. People who turn into dragons, and they're learning how to control their dragons. They're learning what their hordes are and what it means to them. And you can see their hordes evolve over time. And there is that Lord Voldemort evil dude who is corrupting people in the only way that he knows how. So if you liked Harry Potter, I really think you would like Dragonborn. So definitely give this one a check out. And it was good and clean to be able to read with kids. I totally plan on reading it with my teenager when we're done with the Harry Potter series. After Dragonborn, I got to read The Arrow and the Sword by Sarah Farnsworth. Oh my goodness, it was so good. It is a King Arthur and Robin Hood mashup. And it was so good, Sarah. I'm like speechless. She did so well at intertwining these two stories and getting them to work together. And I love Sarah's books. She does retellings differently, and it's complete mashups. And I love her books. They're so good. If you haven't checked out her books and you like good fantasy retellings and things like that, go check out her books. I loved them. After that, I got to read Crown of Sorrows by Tyler Edwards. 5 stars. It is officially out now, and or at least by the time this video is posted. But I got to ARC read that for him, and it is his first fantasy romance novel. He's written a dystopian trilogy, and he's got a high stakes fantasy where we're waiting on book 3. Can't wait for that one. And I know he's got another horror book, but this one was his first try at fantasy romance, and I loved it. It was definitely closed door. It was all around perfect. It had that fantasy plot, and everything moved along well, and the romance was more than just a byline. It was an actual subplot of it, and it worked really good. And I just have to caution you, if you read his books, be careful about being attached to characters. Sometimes he will unalive them, and other times he will make them the most evil turncoats you didn't see coming. This is the second time he's done this to me, where he picked a character and they looked like knight in shining armor type material, warrior. I'm the best type of person there is. And then they do something so horrible. It's like, what? Seriously? But yeah, love his books. I'll read them all day long. They're so good. So if you have not gotten any of his books now, I would definitely try it out. Try out his Outland series, which is his dystopian series, and then his Dark Realm series is his high stakes fantasy that we're waiting book 3 for. And then now Crown of Sorrows. Please look up Crown of Sorrows. It is really good. After that fantasy, I got to read True Princess by Kayla Eschbau. And this one was the Dragon Ladies Book Club read of the month. And it was kind of our June and July read, because summer was really hard to try and read books for many of us who have kids and are trying to just survive our kids at that point. But it is a Princess and the Pea retelling, and I really enjoyed how she did it. It was a fresh new take on it, and I loved it. It was really nice, and I enjoyed getting to know all the different characters and fitting it in. And some of the other members had fun helping enlightening me on how it fits into her series and things like that. So I believe this one also fits in with the Lost Starlight, but I could be wrong on that one. After that, I did the next midlife meet cute series. This one was by Deneen Miller, and this is Shot on Goal at a Second Chance. And this one is a hockey management book romance where the daughter finally follows her dream and her father's dream of owning the hockey team in their hometown. And um, she only got it because there was some bad things that happened with the management beforehand, and she's trying to turn it around. And her ex that she fell in love with, because when she was a kid and her dad was coaching this team, he was a player on the team. And yeah, I won't tell you too much more because that would spoil it for you. But this was a fun read. If you like hockey romance books, this one is a go for you. And costume change, everybody. So this is happening because evidently the mic died while I was recording this video and only made it through about 1/3 of the video. And I was editing last night and it was just all like I was listening to it. And then after about the 12-minute mark, everything went dead silent. And my phone didn't pick up the sound coming out of my mouth because the connection port for this is in the port for my phone. And so I guess it just, when it dies, I got to figure out how it tells me that it's dead. So that way I can stop recording and get things switched out and do it again. But because of that, I am going to get a slightly new setup. The background will still be the same, but I'm going to get a collapsible desk to try and make it more efficient and easier for me to have things, because I have a notebook that I go off of where I write down everything. So that way I don't forget anything, because my ADHD brain, I will forget a bunch of stuff. And then I got a microphone off of a recommendation from one of my buddies, and he said it works great for his channel. So I am going to be waiting on that, but those are coming like next week or two, because I wasn't planning on having to record again until after I had them. But now I have to finish the last 2/3 of my July reads because my microphone died in the middle of recording and I had no clue. So here we are again. Where we picked up off last is The Dressmaker's Secret. And that one is an ALC, or an audio listening copy, that I received by Kellen Roth, narrated by Alexandra Ralph. And this is a historical book set in the Regency era. And the mom, it starts out, it's a little confusing because it starts out and you're just like, why do they have to move the babies? Why is what? Okay. And it kind of jumps in. And the book is essentially about navigating London society and trying, and how hard it can be to get a second start. And Kellen does an amazing job with this. There's not even that much romance in it. There is mention to it, but you don't get all the swoony feels and everything because of circumstances that happen that I'm not going to say because that would be an utter spoiler. But it's a really good book. And since this, I have already read books 2 and 3 in the same series, and I've been enjoying it so far. And I also got this audiobook, compliments of the business group The Audio Collective, also found on Instagram, where authors and ARC reviewers or audiobook reviewers team up, and they work together to help drive reviews to help the authors out, because sometimes Audible isn't very good about putting out reviews or not featuring books that have no reviews, or people don't like to buy audiobooks or take the risks on them when there are no reviews. And so they sit there not making any money and nothing happening because there's no reviews, not even ratings, or maybe very little of it. And so we team up together to help the authors be more successful and drive reviews for their books. And we get to enjoy the books in the process. And it still is much like you would be if you were signing up for an ARC book. You ask the author, hey, can I please have a code to be able to read this or listen to this? And there they can say yes or no, because they get to choose if you're going to be the right audience for them. And I have yet to be turned down, but I've enjoyed every book that I have so far. And if you would like to come join us, I will put the link to the application to the group in the description. So look for that. And I'll make sure it's labeled, because I'm going to be putting 2 different form links in the description for 2 different audio review books. Both of them are very similar. They are closed door, clean, and many with Christian views. And so, but if you're an audiobook reviewer and you want this opportunity to try and help authors out and get some more books, come and join us. It is lots of fun. We also share each other's posts on Instagram, so that way everybody can get the love in it, and it helps to kind of motivate the algorithm to push it out for more other people to see. So it's a really fun group, and I do enjoy both of my audio book review groups. After The Dressmaker comes one of my favorite books that I got to read, and that is an anthology called The Haunted Brew. And this is a clean, closed door fall thriller anthology, and it is perfect, because typically what I have found is you have your thriller and your horror, and then you've got your cozy fall books, and you've got your cozy fall mysteries and things like that, but usually nothing in between. So this one is that right in between. You still get the one of them is at least a cozy type feel, but they all have thriller type vibes. They've all got what the authors put as caffeine ratings, and I absolutely love it, and I agree with their ratings. I do that, and I do. And there's 4 stories in there. They're all folklore retellings of different stories, or thriller type or fall type stories. So the first one is called Elves and Espresso by Scarlett Luna Strange. And this one is the tamest of the bunch, I will put. It's got elves, it's got coffee, and the steamiest part of this book is the coffee. But the elf in here ends up falling in love with someone through a marriage bind, and then someone else comes after her, and her poor misunderstanding father is just like, oh, he's richer, let's break this marriage bind to try and get you with this guy who's richer. And she was just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna run away. But then she's being hunted down, because this is some sort of famed type of creature that hunts down things, especially when they've been promised to him. And there's an attempted killing at the end, and she is kidnapped for that to happen. But I love the twist at the end. I did not see that coming. It's one of those things, look at the fine print, but it's a good one. It was a fun one. The next story in the anthology is Ghosts and Ginger Tea by Leah Loha Humphreys. And this is a Hawaiian night marcher retelling. And this one definitely has the thriller vibes. You're on the edge, and you're dealing with a lot of death in this one. But oddly enough, I'm probably one of the few that didn't find it scary at all or anything, but many people might. And that was just because I'm a huge culture nerd. Ever since I found ways to be able to learn more about my Native American background, I look at stories like these as wonderful insights into my culture. And so, me being that nerd, that is how I looked at this one, Ghosts and Ginger Tea, because it is a Hawaiian culture story retelling. And it is such a beautiful story. And I love the way she tells it. And while I don't know the whole in depth version of the original story, her retelling is just so alive and interconnected. And you've got a mystery to figure out with this. And you find out certain things along the way, and you're like, really? Just, and I can't tell you here. That's my, because I don't want to spoil it. Next after that, of course, is one of my favorites in this whole one, The Horseman and Hot Chocolate. And this one is by Ashley Evercott. And this is the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, or the Headless Horseman retelling. And this one was the one I was so excited to read, and it did not disappoint. It is my favorite in all of them. I loved all of them, and I will probably read them all again, but this is the one that I will probably pick out every single time and just read that one because I just love it so much. But think of Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and the Headless Horseman comes, and you've got this legend story, but you don't know why you have this legend story. He just appears. Well, what if you could figure out who the actual Headless Horseman is, and figure out what his memories are, and figure out how he fits? This is that story. And Ashley did not disappoint. I absolutely love this. Definitely will be reading it again. The last story in this anthology is by Sarah Baran, and that is Monsters and Mocha. And this one is the scariest of the bunch. It has total thriller moments and scary moments, and you're like, whoa. But it's not like some of the gore that I read in other of my fantasy books. But this one is a Frankenstein retelling. But what if you could know Frankenstein's backstory of exactly how Frankenstein, the process of making Frankenstein was made? And it's got a magical theme to it with a little bit of a steampunk theme with all the different things that they use for prosthetics and things. And this was a truly inventive story, and it's so good. It starts off really great, and towards the end is where we get some of those trigger warnings from her, and there is some dismemberment in the end. And if you don't like that kind of thing and blood being talked about, I would say skip this one. But it is still pretty calm as far as details and in your face, but it still gives you all the emotion feels of like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? So I absolutely loved the Haunted Brew anthology and will recommend it every day. It is the perfect fall Halloween thriller stories that you could ask for, that is in between your cozy and your extreme thriller horror books. I would recommend this to everyone. And I would also actually throw a little caution to the wind about this one for kids. Even teenagers. Some teenagers might enjoy it, but you know your kids best. And read it first. Then you'll know if your kids will enjoy it or not. Next, I had two TBR reads. One is Comeback Cowboy by Roxanne Rustin. And this one I only had 3 stars because it wasn't that memorable. It wasn't bad writing. It was a good story. And I liked her writing, but the plot line and everything just wasn't for me. I kind of read this book in half a days, half knowing what's going on and half going, oh, my brain wandered. But that's just me. Maybe someone else will like it. It's a good cowboy western story. The next one is also by Roxanne Rustin, and it's the book 2 in this duology, and it is A Montana Legacy. This one I liked a little bit more. There was more romance, more emotions, more feeling, but still in that type of western era. and I did enjoy this one more. And these two are listed as a duology on her Amazon page, even though you don't have to read them as a duology. You could read one and you could read the other, because there's none of the same characters are in the same book. So after that, I got to read 2 more arcs from Melinda Curtis, and this is part of the Midlife Meet Cute series, and that was Love and Lattes at the Mermaid Cafe. And this one is such a short meet cute. I love the way that this historic town is built. I love the way that they're not there's no wool over their eyes when corporate people try to come and change things. So this is one of those I would recommend for nice, short, quick reads. And it's a good way to get to know a historic town in this book. So if you like that, this one is for you. And then kind of after that comes her other book, The Mermaid Cafe's Guide to Dating a Bad Boy. And The Mermaid Cafe is in both books. You get to learn more about it in the Love and Lattes. And this one focuses on one of the baristas who's actually studying to become a lawyer. And the town bad boy, a motorcycle guy, I believe works at a construction company, but he has the experience and the know-how to be promoted in the company. He just needs to pass the written exam so that way they know that he has all the education he needs to be able to be in said position. And so she helps to tutor him for that. And that is another great cute meet cute in that, even though it's not a part of the Midlife Meet Cute series, but it's another great little romance story. Second to last book for July reads is Escaping Pirates by Mary Meekum, and this was phenomenal. Think about a seafaring Cinderella retelling. That is exactly how she's marketing this. That is exactly what it is. Daughter of a merchant gets robbed by pirates at sea, and because he wants his daughters to have some semblance of being high society type girls, because they're utterly spoiled rotten, and he's like, here you go, you can have a handmaiden, and she'll do all of the stuff that you don't need to do. That's her job. And it's like, wow. So I had some funny things to say as I was reading it during the readathon and in July, and Mary cracked up at some of them. She was like, I just can't stop laughing that you wouldn't say that. And so it was a good book. If you like Cinderella retellings but you want something different with pirates, go this route for sure. And this is actually part of her Legends of Neverland series. I believe it's book 4. I actually have not read the previous 3, but I think I will be getting the arc for number 5. So I am going to try and see about reading books 1, 2, and 3, because book 5 refers to someone from the other books in this series. And that will be exciting, and you'll get to hear about that more as I get those done too. And the last book I read in July was Queen of Sorrows by Eliza Tilton. And this is book 1 in her Immortal Faking series. And it was good. I enjoyed it. It is your typical Fae book. There is some abuse scenes, and whether emotional or physical, but that's because it's the Fae. If you know traditional Fae stories, this is kind of what happens. So if you don't like that, don't read this book. But there is one other scene in here that this is marketed as a closed door book, but I hesitate to say it's a closed door book because there is a wedding night scene in it, and you actually do go through the door and you're there, and there's enough details to know how things are getting started, and she's focusing more on the emotions than the actual physical act. But and then he stops because he just sees the terror in her eyes, and he's a fake king with a heart. And so he stops everything, and they leave it at that. And while it's marketed as closed door, I believe. But because you do walk through that door and you are in and you know enough to know what's happening, even though you don't read what's happening, I'd say read with caution for closed door readers. But I am looking forward to reading books 2 and 3 because I believe she has book 4 coming out soon, and you'll get to hear about those as well. Thank you so much for joining me as I re-record this and fix the problem with the mic cutting out. But hopefully the next time, well, it might be a while, but we'll see. But in some of the videos that you'll see I'll post, you'll see me with my new setup as I make videos and everything. I'm excited to get my new desk and my new microphone to help make things a little bit smoother and hopefully not have a microphone die on me in the middle of a recording. All right, book dragons, find new books, go on new adventures, and stay safe.